Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Zootopia 2's anticipated performance at the box office has been a subject of widespread analysis among industry experts. Given the original Zootopia's global gross of over $1 billion and its critical acclaim, expectations for the sequel are exceptionally high. Analysts predict that the film will perform strongly both domestically and internationally, buoyed by a combination of brand recognition, strategic marketing, and a built-in fan base eager to return to the richly imagined world of Zootopia. Key markets, including North America, Europe, and Asia, are expected to contribute substantially to the overall gross, with particular attention paid to regions where animated films traditionally perform well due to family-oriented viewing habits. Disney's distribution strategy leverages the holiday season release, which historically drives increased theater attendance, positioning Zootopia 2 for maximal commercial impact. Early projections suggest the film could surpass $800 million globally within its theatrical run, contingent on audience reception, competition from other releases, and ongoing marketing momentum. Critical reception of Zootopia 2 has been notably positive in advanced screenings, with reviewers highlighting the film's successful balance of humor, emotional depth, and social commentary. Critics have praised the sequel for expanding the world-building established in the original film, noting the nuanced representation of urban ecosystems and the sophisticated interplay of character relationships. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde's character development has been specifically lauded for its realism and relatability, with many reviewers commenting on the film's ability to address complex issues such as bias, systemic inequality, and interpersonal dynamics without resorting to didacticism. The introduction of Gary DeSnake as a morally complex antagonist has been recognized as a bold narrative choice, allowing the story to explore ethical ambiguity and the consequences of societal exclusion. In addition to narrative and thematic elements, the film's technical achievements have received acclaim. Reviewers have highlighted the advanced animation techniques, including intricate fur simulation, realistic environmental physics, and expressive character rigging, which together create a visually stunning and emotionally resonant experience. The integration of music, particularly the contributions of Michael Giacchino and Shakira, has been noted for enhancing the emotional texture of the film and providing memorable auditory cues that complement the visual storytelling. Cultural impact is another dimension in which Zootopia 2 is poised to leave a significant mark. The first film's success in addressing issues of diversity, inclusion, and prejudice established a precedent for socially conscious animation, and the sequel continues this trajectory. By introducing a previously underrepresented species as a central figure and antagonist, the film prompts audiences to engage with questions of tolerance, empathy, and community cohesion. Educational commentators and social analysts have noted that the film's allegorical approach allows for meaningful discussions among children and adults alike, serving as a platform for conversations about fairness, ethical decision-making, and the value of diverse perspectives. The sequel's influence extends beyond narrative themes. Its marketing campaigns and interactive digital content have fostered increased engagement with the franchise, creating a multi-generational cultural touchstone. Cosplay, fan art, and community events further demonstrate the film's impact on popular culture, reinforcing Zootopia's position as a contemporary icon of animated storytelling. Animation innovations in Zootopia 2 reflect both technological advancements and creative ambition. The production team employed state-of-the-art rendering techniques to enhance environmental realism and character interaction. Advanced algorithms for crowd simulation allow background characters to interact dynamically with the environment and with one another, creating a sense of a living, breathing city. Fur and texture simulation have been further refined, enabling nuanced expression of emotions through subtle movements and lighting interactions. Facial rigging systems were upgraded to allow micro-expressions, enhancing the conveyance of psychological states, particularly in complex interactions between characters. Additionally, the integration of physically based lighting, atmospheric scattering, and real-time environmental reflections contributes to the immersive quality of Zootopia's cityscapes. These technical achievements not only support the narrative but also position Disney at the forefront of animation innovation, setting new standards for future productions. A deeper exploration of character psychology reveals the sequel's commitment to sophisticated emotional storytelling. Judy Hopps' internal conflict, balancing her idealism with the practical realities of law enforcement, serves as a lens through which audiences can examine themes of self-efficacy, responsibility, and moral judgment. Nick Wilde's evolution reflects broader questions of identity, trust, and social perception, highlighting the interplay between personal history and societal expectations. Gary DeSnake, as an antagonist, embodies the tension between ambition, exclusion, and ethical compromise, providing a foil through which the protagonist's values are both tested and affirmed. Supporting characters offer additional perspectives on social cohesion, mental health, and ethical decision-making, enriching the narrative's psychological depth. The film's writers and animators collaborated closely with child psychologists and cultural consultants to ensure that these complex themes are accessible to younger audiences without oversimplification or condescension. In terms of future franchise potential, Zootopia 2 lays the groundwork for subsequent sequels, spin-offs, and cross-media storytelling opportunities. By expanding the city's districts, introducing new species, and exploring broader social challenges, the film creates narrative flexibility for future explorations within the Zootopia universe. Spin-off possibilities include series focusing on specialized units of the Zootopia Police Department, adventures in lesser-explored districts, or origin stories of prominent characters. Additionally, the sequel's success in integrating interactive marketing and digital engagement sets a precedent for transmedia storytelling, where audiences can engage with the franchise through video games, augmented reality experiences, educational content, and merchandise. This integrated approach positions Zootopia not only as a film franchise but as a versatile intellectual property with cultural, educational, and commercial resonance. The film opens in the familiar, bustling city of Zootopia, immediately establishing a sense of vibrancy and scale that surpasses the original. A panoramic sequence glides through the cityscape, showing the interplay of its various districts, the gleaming downtown high-rises, the crowded and eclectic markets, the serene residential areas, and glimpses of previously unexplored zones that hint at the broader urban sprawl. This visual introduction not only immerses the audience in the city but also subtly reinforces the thematic premise of Zootopia as a microcosm of society, with its diversity, social structures, and potential for conflict. The camera lingers briefly on Judy Hopps at the Zootopia Police Department, portraying her as confident, capable, yet still idealistic, ready to tackle whatever challenges the day brings. Nick Wilde, meanwhile, is seen navigating the city streets, his charm and wit evident as he interacts with citizens, providing both comic relief and exposition about the social landscape of Zootopia. The opening sequence masterfully balances action, humor, and world building, immediately signaling that the sequel will expand the scale and depth of the story. The first inciting incident occurs when a series of mysterious events begin to unfold in different parts of the city. Citizens report strange occurrences, valuable items disappearing, bizarre disruptions in everyday routines, and rumors of a new, enigmatic figure whose motives are unclear. Gary DeSnake is introduced through a shadowy, tension-filled scene, his movements calculated and deliberate, creating a sense of unease. The animation here emphasizes texture, lighting, and fluid motion, highlighting the menacing qualities of his character without resorting to overt villain clichés. This sequence establishes him as a credible threat and immediately raises stakes for Judy and Nick, signaling a shift from the light-hearted investigation of the first film to a more suspenseful and layered narrative. Judy and Nick's initial investigation takes them through the streets and alleys of the city, showcasing Zootopia's diverse inhabitants and neighborhoods. As they interact with other animals, the film subtly addresses issues of prejudice, stereotyping, and social expectation. One scene depicts a gathering of smaller mammals in a community forum, where concerns about safety and representation are voiced. Judy listens attentively, demonstrating her growing empathy and leadership, while Nick provides pragmatic and often humorous commentary that balances tension with levity. These scenes deepen character development, reinforcing Judy's moral compass and Nick's streetwise intuition while highlighting the social dynamics that make the city feel alive and complex. The investigation leads Judy and Nick to the first major set-piece sequence, an elaborate chase through an industrial district newly introduced in the sequel. The sequence is a technical marvel, with animation that captures the scale of the environment and the agility of the characters. Judy navigates tight spaces with precision, her movements reflecting both her training and her innate optimism, while Nick improvises with clever maneuvers and street-smart tactics. The sequence is punctuated with humor, tension, and suspense, demonstrating Disney's skill in blending genres, action, comedy, and mystery, into a seamless narrative experience. The chase concludes with a near capture of Gary the Snake, but he slips away, leaving clues that hint at a more elaborate plan, establishing a long-term narrative arc and maintaining audience engagement through suspense and anticipation. As the investigation progresses, the film introduces new supporting characters who enrich both the narrative and the social tapestry of Zootopia. Nibbles Maple Stick, portrayed with comedic timing and expressive animation, provides insight into underground networks within the city, while Dr. Fuzzby offers psychological and emotional perspectives that challenge Judy and Nick to consider the human, or rather animal, consequences of their actions. These interactions are designed to advance the plot while reinforcing the film's broader themes of empathy, cooperation, and understanding across species and social divides. The scenes balance exposition with character development, ensuring that the story remains engaging without becoming didactic. Midway through the film, a sequence explores the more advanced technological precinct of Zootopia, highlighting the city's modernization and the potential for both progress and ethical dilemmas. Holographic displays, automated systems, and futuristic transportation are animated with meticulous attention to detail, emphasizing the contrast between technological innovation and the natural behaviors of the city's inhabitants. Judy and Nick navigate this environment with a mixture of awe, strategic thinking, and improvisation, highlighting their complementary skills. This sequence also introduces moral tension, as the duo uncovers evidence suggesting that technological exploitation may be at the heart of the city's recent disturbances. The film here engages audiences with thought-provoking questions about progress, responsibility, and the unintended consequences of innovation, all while maintaining the narrative momentum through action and humor. A pivotal emotional moment occurs when Judy confronts Gary the Snake in a tense dialogue-driven scene that tests her ethical principles and problem-solving abilities. The lighting and sound design in this sequence are particularly notable, with shadows, reflections, and ambient noises heightening tension and emphasizing the psychological stakes. The conversation challenges Judy's assumptions and forces Nick to reflect on his own approach to justice, deepening their character arcs and reinforcing the film's central themes of trust, integrity, and understanding. These moments of introspection are interspersed with lighter sequences that provide balance, ensuring the film remains accessible to its family audience while delivering narrative depth. The climax unfolds in a multi-layered set piece that spans several districts of Zootopia, integrating action, humor, and emotional resolution. Judy and Nick orchestrate a plan that requires collaboration with various communities, showcasing both the diversity of the city and the power of collective action. The animation here is highly dynamic, with fluid camera movements, precise timing, and seamless integration of character interactions with environmental elements. Gary the Snake's final confrontation is designed to be both thrilling and morally instructive, emphasizing the consequences of deceit and the importance of community in overcoming challenges. The sequence resolves key narrative threads while leaving subtle hints for potential future adventures, reinforcing the film's broader thematic ambitions and narrative continuity. Following the climax, the denouement highlights character growth and citywide restoration. Judy and Nick are celebrated not only for their bravery but also for their ethical leadership and collaborative spirit. Secondary characters are given moments of resolution, demonstrating that the film values each species and community, reinforcing messages of inclusivity and social harmony. The closing sequences blend humor, music, and visual spectacle, culminating in a celebratory montage that reflects both the personal growth of the main characters and the restored equilibrium of the city. Shakira's song, Zoo, underscores the montage, combining narrative, cultural, and musical elements into a cohesive and emotionally resonant conclusion. In Zootopia 2, individual sequences have been carefully constructed to blend humor, suspense, and emotional resonance in ways that reinforce both character development and thematic depth. The film opens with a sweeping aerial view of the city, showcasing new districts alongside familiar landmarks. This visual introduction establishes the expanded scale of Zootopia and subtly foreshadows the central mystery. The streets are alive with diverse animal life, elephants operating construction machinery, squirrels bustling through urban marketplaces, and owls patrolling high-rise observation decks. These background details serve more than a decorative function, they contribute to the immersive world building that allows audiences to believe in a fully functional city ecosystem. Every frame contains multiple layers of action, encouraging viewers to engage actively with the environment and recognize the interplay between various species and social strata. The opening sequence also introduces the first hints of the antagonist's influence, with subtle anomalies in behavior, unexplained disruptions, and cryptic signals that set the narrative in motion. As the plot develops, Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde are confronted with a series of investigations that require them to navigate both physical and political landscapes. One key subplot involves a series of high-profile disappearances within the city's diplomatic district, highlighting tensions between different animal factions. Judy and Nick must interpret clues that are deliberately misleading, forcing them to rely on both instinct and analytical reasoning. This investigative thread allows the film to explore themes of perception versus reality, bias, and the importance of questioning assumptions. The sequence is punctuated with moments of levity, such as Nick's sarcastic commentary or Judy's attempts to enforce procedural rules in situations where flexibility is required. These comedic elements serve to humanize the characters, making their professional challenges relatable and their triumphs satisfying. In addition to the primary investigation, the film explores subplots that enrich the narrative tapestry. For example, there are sequences focused on the everyday life of Zootopia citizens, which serve both as comic relief and as commentary on the city's social dynamics. One memorable sequence depicts a citywide festival where various species participate in culturally unique performances. This scene not only emphasizes the diversity and inclusivity of Zootopia but also introduces minor characters who become relevant later in the plot, illustrating Disney's method of layering narrative threads to reward attentive viewers. These subplots are carefully interwoven with the main storyline, maintaining narrative cohesion while providing opportunities for humor, tension, and thematic reinforcement. Character interactions are central to Zootopia 2's narrative drive. Judy and Nick's partnership evolves organically, with moments of conflict, reconciliation, and mutual respect. The film portrays the challenges inherent in balancing personal loyalty with professional duty, particularly in situations where ethical ambiguities arise. For instance, a pivotal scene involves Judy confronting a morally complex decision about whether to prioritize the safety of the public or protect the privacy and dignity of a specific species community. Nick's pragmatic approach complements Judy's idealism, and their debates illuminate the complexities of law enforcement and civic responsibility in a multi-species society. Through these interactions, the film examines broader questions about governance, accountability, and the social contract, while maintaining accessibility for younger audiences through humor, visual storytelling, and relatable character dilemmas. Gary DeSnake's character arc is a standout aspect of the sequel, as it provides both narrative tension and thematic resonance. His strategies are sophisticated, involving manipulation of public perception, covert sabotage, and psychological games designed to exploit the fears and weaknesses of Zootopia's inhabitants. Unlike traditional animated villains who rely primarily on physical confrontation, DeSnake engages in intellectual battles with Judy and Nick, requiring the protagonists to employ strategy, observation, and emotional intelligence to counter his plans. This dynamic elevates the narrative complexity, providing opportunities for suspenseful plot twists and ethical exploration. The audience is encouraged to consider the consequences of deception, the influence of leadership on public trust, and the impact of personal ambition on community stability. The design and animation of Gary DeSnake emphasize both his physical presence and his psychological characteristics. Animators employed fluid, sinuous movements to convey his reptilian agility and unpredictability, while facial expressions and eye movements are used to communicate intelligence, cunning, and occasional vulnerability. The visual design complements the narrative function, making him simultaneously a credible threat and a compelling character study. Supporting antagonists and hench characters are similarly crafted, providing diversity in abilities, motives, and personalities. These secondary characters contribute to plot complexity by creating sub-challenges for the protagonists and enabling multiple layers of conflict, both interpersonal and societal. Judy and Nick's investigative process is interspersed with action sequences that combine suspense with humor. Car chases through the city, rooftop pursuits, and narrowly avoided mishaps are choreographed to emphasize the characters' resourcefulness and the challenges posed by Zootopia's urban environment. Each sequence is carefully timed and framed to maintain narrative clarity while providing visual excitement. Animators utilize a combination of camera angles, dynamic lighting, and environmental interactions to heighten tension and enhance the audience's immersion. Humor is often derived from situational irony, character idiosyncrasies, and species-specific traits, ensuring that these action sequences appeal to both younger viewers and adult audiences. Beyond action and humor, the sequel continues the franchise's tradition of embedding social commentary within its narrative. Themes of prejudice, stereotyping, and systemic inequality are explored through plot events, dialogue, and character choices. For example, certain species are depicted as being unfairly marginalized in specific districts, prompting discussions about resource allocation, representation, and societal expectations. These elements are woven subtly into the story, allowing children to understand lessons about fairness and empathy, while providing adults with richer material for reflection on societal dynamics. The film's narrative encourages critical thinking and promotes messages of tolerance, cooperation, and social responsibility without compromising entertainment value. The voice cast brings these narrative elements to life with performances that balance comedic timing, emotional authenticity, and character consistency. Ginnifer Goodwin's portrayal of Judy Hopps conveys both determination and vulnerability, capturing the character's growth and the challenges of leadership. Jason Bateman's Nick Wilde provides a balance of wit, charm, and moral insight, enhancing the character's appeal and effectiveness as a partner to Judy. Ke Huy Quan's performance as Gary DeSnake adds a unique tone to the villain, blending menace, intelligence, and subtle charisma. Supporting voice actors contribute depth and variety, ensuring that minor characters are memorable and contribute meaningfully to the plot. The ensemble performance reinforces the film's commitment to high-quality storytelling, character-driven humor, and emotional resonance. Marketing efforts for Zootopia 2 have been extensive and multifaceted. In addition to traditional trailers and posters, Disney has leveraged social media campaigns, interactive games, behind-the-scenes videos, and interviews with cast and crew to create excitement and anticipation. Early previews and teaser clips highlighted the evolution of the city, the new antagonist, and the central mystery, generating discussions across fan communities and entertainment news outlets. Merchandise tie-ins, including toys, apparel, and collectibles, have been strategically released to coincide with the film's theatrical debut, reinforcing brand engagement and creating a comprehensive promotional ecosystem. These strategies reflect a sophisticated understanding of contemporary media consumption patterns and emphasize the importance of cross-platform engagement in modern film marketing. Zootopia 2's richness is not limited to the central plotline of Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde confronting Gary DeSnake. The film is replete with subplots that enhance narrative complexity and provide texture to the world of Zootopia. One prominent subplot involves Judy's efforts to mentor new recruits within the Zootopia Police Department, highlighting generational dynamics, the challenges of leadership, and the responsibilities of role modeling. This subplot also introduces emerging characters from diverse species backgrounds, whose interactions with Judy and Nick offer additional perspectives on the city's social fabric. By showcasing the diversity of experiences within the police force, the film reinforces themes of inclusion, teamwork, and adaptability, illustrating that effective solutions require contributions from a wide range of voices and skill sets. Another notable subplot explores the political dimensions of city governance, as Zootopia navigates policy changes related to integration and social cohesion in response to the emerging threat posed by Gary DeSnake. These narrative threads emphasize the complexity of leadership, the negotiation between personal ethics and institutional constraints, and the interplay between law enforcement and civic policy. Supporting characters are given meaningful arcs that contribute to both humor and thematic resonance. Dr. Fuzby, the quokka therapist, provides comic relief while also addressing deeper psychological themes, particularly regarding conflict resolution, emotional intelligence, and the reconciliation of personal and professional pressures. Nibbles Maplestick serves as an investigative partner and ally, offering narrative beats that advance the mystery subplot while providing moments of levity and human, or rather, animal, connection. Returning characters from the first film, including Gazelle, Flash the Sloth, and Mayor Lionheart, appear in roles that both advance the plot and provide continuity with the original narrative. Gazelle's musical performance is integrated seamlessly into the story, reinforcing morale among the city's citizens and serving as a narrative device that underscores themes of unity, hope, and social cohesion. These secondary and tertiary characters collectively create a dense, interconnected web of relationships that makes Zootopia feel expansive and alive. The musical composition in Zootopia 2 plays a critical role in shaping audience perception, mood, and emotional engagement. Michael Giacchino's score employs leitmotifs for principal characters, reinforcing their emotional arcs and narrative significance. Judy Hopps' theme emphasizes determination, optimism, and moral clarity, while Nick Wilde's theme features sly, playful undertones interwoven with moments of vulnerability and introspection. Gary DeSnake's motif combines tension-building harmonics with subtle melodic flourishes, reflecting his cunning, manipulative nature, and layered psychology. Beyond instrumental scoring, the inclusion of original songs, such as Gazelle's Zoo, blends pop sensibilities with narrative exposition, creating moments that are both entertaining and emotionally resonant. Musical transitions are carefully synchronized with visual cues, action sequences, and character interactions, resulting in a fully integrated audiovisual experience. Environmental storytelling remains a hallmark of the Zootopia franchise, and the sequel expands this aspect in remarkable ways. Each district of the city is carefully designed to reflect socio-economic status, cultural influences, and ecological considerations. For example, in the Tundratown chase sequence, subtle visual cues, such as the slipperiness of icy surfaces, the ambient glow of reflective ice, and the tight, winding streets, intensify suspense while providing a sense of realism. In Sahara Square, colorful markets, bustling cafes, and dynamic pedestrian traffic create opportunities for both comedic and dramatic interactions, allowing background characters to act as micronarratives that reinforce the world's depth. Animation techniques such as volumetric lighting, real-time weather effects, and advanced particle simulation are employed to enhance immersion. These environmental details are not merely decorative, they serve as narrative tools, enabling characters to interact organically with their surroundings and allowing audiences to infer social dynamics, cultural norms, and spatial hierarchies without explicit exposition. Fan engagement surrounding Zootopia 2 has been substantial, fueled by both online communities and grassroots cultural participation. Fan theories regarding character motivations, hidden Easter eggs, and potential sequels proliferated in forums and social media platforms, creating an active dialogue between the audience and the franchise. This participatory culture has implications for narrative design, as filmmakers incorporate subtle nods to fan interpretations, creating moments of intertextuality and rewarding attentive viewers. Cosplay events, fan art exhibitions, and themed community gatherings further solidify the film's presence in popular culture, demonstrating the emotional and cultural investment audiences have in the Zootopia universe. Disney's acknowledgement of this engagement through official social media interactions, contests, and digital content creates a feedback loop that amplifies the franchise's cultural resonance. Merchandising for Zootopia 2 has been strategically aligned with both narrative content and character development. Action figures, clothing, and collectible items are designed with attention to detail, reflecting the personalities, physical traits, and storylines of individual characters. Limited edition items, such as plush versions of new species introduced in the sequel, capitalize on novelty while promoting inclusivity and expanding the range of representation within the merchandise ecosystem. Collaborative efforts with consumer brands, video games, and augmented reality applications extend the franchise's reach, offering interactive experiences that complement the film's narrative and encourage sustained engagement beyond theatrical viewing. This holistic approach to merchandising underscores the franchise's dual function as both storytelling and cultural enterprise. At the scene-by-scene level, Zootopia 2 demonstrates meticulous planning and execution. Action sequences are choreographed to balance tension, humor, and narrative clarity. Chase scenes, confrontations with Gary the Snake, and investigative breakthroughs are interwoven with character-driven emotional beats, ensuring that spectacle does not overshadow story. Visual storytelling techniques, including camera angles, lighting, and color grading, are employed to emphasize thematic elements, highlight character development, and reinforce narrative arcs. For example, moments of moral decision-making are often framed with dynamic lighting contrasts, visually representing the internal conflict experienced by characters. Subtle gestures, micro-expressions, and background activity enrich the narrative, allowing audiences to infer meaning and build deeper emotional connections. Attention to such details demonstrates the filmmaker's commitment to layered, intelligent storytelling that rewards repeat viewings and attentive observation. Beyond the central protagonists, Zootopia 2 invests significant narrative energy in secondary and newly introduced characters, ensuring that the film's universe feels alive, multidimensional, and thematically cohesive. Each of these characters contributes uniquely to the story, whether by providing insight, catalyzing plot developments, or serving as reflections of societal themes. Dr. Fuzzby, the quokka therapist, exemplifies the film's innovative approach to character utility. She is introduced in a sequence where Judy and Nick are navigating personal doubts about their investigative strategy. Through humorous yet perceptive dialogue, Dr. Fuzzby encourages the protagonists to examine their own biases, past decisions, and fears. This introspection is critical to character growth. Judy is challenged to accept that idealism alone cannot solve systemic problems, while Nick confronts lingering guilt about his past cons and the implications of his transformed identity as a law enforcer. These sequences blend comedy with psychological realism, providing a rare depth in animated character exploration and ensuring that emotional arcs resonate with audiences beyond surface-level adventure. Nibbles Maple Stick, the beaver, operates as a structural foil to Judy and Nick, embodying diligence, ingenuity, and community-mindedness. In the aquatic and marshland districts, Nibbles' understanding of terrain, water logistics, and interspecies alliances proves indispensable. In one memorable scene, Nibbles devises a clever system of pulley bridges and floating markers to track Gary the Snake's movements through the marshlands, combining practical ingenuity with narrative tension. These sequences emphasize the film's recurring themes, that progress and problem-solving rely on collaboration, adaptability, and respect for diverse skills and perspectives. By foregrounding a supporting character's intelligence and creativity, the film signals that heroism is not restricted to its main protagonists but can emerge from every layer of society. Gary the Snake's arc is particularly rich and multi-layered. While initially framed as a threat, his backstory reveals motivations shaped by historical marginalization and environmental displacement. His species, long excluded from Zootopia's mainstream society, has faced systemic barriers to integration and influence. Gary's actions, therefore, function as both narrative catalyst and social commentary, illustrating how exclusion and inequity can foment disruption if left unaddressed. Through strategic interactions with Judy, Nick, and city officials, the film explores complex ethical questions. To what extent should societal structures be reformed to accommodate diverse groups? How can justice balance individual rights with collective security? Gary's character challenges the audience to think critically about the intersections of morality, legality, and empathy, ensuring that Zootopia 2 transcends conventional animated storytelling and invites deeper reflection. As the narrative progresses toward the climax, tension escalates across multiple districts simultaneously. Judy and Nick must manage interspecies negotiations, investigative breakthroughs, and morally fraught decisions, all under the looming presence of Gary's strategic maneuvering. In one pivotal sequence, the protagonists uncover a hidden network connecting previously disparate districts, a metaphorical representation of societal interdependence. This revelation catalyzes the film's thematic convergence. Cooperation, understanding, and adaptability are essential to overcoming systemic challenges. The filmmakers employ dynamic cinematography and cross-cutting between districts to heighten suspense, visually representing the interconnectedness of the city while maintaining clarity of narrative flow. The climactic confrontation between Gary the Snake and the protagonists is both action-packed and morally resonant. Rather than relying on simplistic physical conflict, the film stages a multi-layered resolution that incorporates negotiation, ethical reasoning, and clever problem-solving. Gary's eventual recognition of potential collaboration, coupled with Judy and Nick's willingness to engage empathetically, leads to a resolution that reinforces the film's core themes. This climax exemplifies Disney's commitment to storytelling that combines entertainment with moral reflection. The resolution is satisfying narratively, emotionally resonant, and intellectually stimulating, avoiding the binary, good versus evil, resolution often seen in animated sequels. Resolution sequences explore the aftermath of Gary's integration into Zootopia and the city's adaptation to new norms. Districts previously isolated or marginalized are now more connected, showcasing increased interspecies cooperation, equitable distribution of resources, and cultural exchange. Judy and Nick reflect on their personal growth and the lessons learned, with dialogue and visual cues underscoring the evolution of their partnership. The film concludes with a celebratory scene in which the city comes together, blending visual spectacle, musical performance, and narrative closure. This denouement reinforces both character arcs and thematic content, leaving audiences with a sense of hope, accomplishment, and continued curiosity about Zootopia's future. Thematic exploration extends beyond narrative resolution. Zootopia 2 examines inclusion, systemic inequity, ethical leadership, and community responsibility. By embedding these themes within visually engaging sequences, dynamic character arcs, and layered narrative structures, the film ensures that its moral lessons are both accessible and sophisticated. Subplots involving minor characters, such as disputes between neighboring species or internal conflicts within districts, further illustrate the film's commitment to portraying a society that is nuanced, complex, and responsive to both challenges and opportunities. Through humor, suspense, and emotionally charged moments, the film invites audiences to consider real-world parallels regarding governance, social cohesion, and empathy. From a production standpoint, the filmmaker's attention to animation and visual storytelling significantly enhances thematic expression. District-specific lighting, environmental textures, and species-specific designs create visual metaphors that reinforce narrative content. For example, the marshland district's misty lighting and reflective water surfaces underscore ambiguity and uncertainty in the plot, while bright, open urban spaces represent clarity, safety, and interconnectedness. Animators have employed advanced rendering techniques for fur, skin, and fluid dynamics, achieving a balance between photorealism and stylized expressiveness. The use of camera angles, motion parallax, and depth of field conveys both scale and intimacy, allowing viewers to experience the grandeur of Zootopia while remaining attuned to subtle character interactions. Voice acting and sound design are equally critical to the film's immersive experience. Ginnifer Goodwin's portrayal of Judy captures a full range of emotional expression, from determination to vulnerability, while Jason Bateman's performance as Nick provides levity and grounding. Ko Hui Kwan's nuanced portrayal of Gary balances menace with depth, reinforcing the character's complexity. Sound effects, ambient city noises, and musical motifs are carefully layered to enhance realism and emotional impact, creating a soundscape that mirrors the visual richness of Zootopia. Music serves not only as entertainment but as a narrative device, linking character emotions, societal commentary, and thematic undercurrents, culminating in a holistic cinematic experience. Marketing and reception further underscore the film's cultural impact. Disney's promotional strategy highlighted the expansion of Zootopia's world, the return of beloved characters, and the introduction of compelling new personalities. Trailers emphasized suspense, humor, and visual spectacle, generating anticipation across global markets. Merchandise, interactive media, and educational tie-ins extended engagement beyond theaters, reflecting the film's broad appeal. Box office performance exceeded expectations in both domestic and international markets, cementing Zootopia 2 as both a commercial success and a culturally resonant work. Critical reviews praised the film for its sophisticated themes, animation quality, and character depth, noting that it successfully builds on the original while offering fresh perspectives, narrative complexity, and moral resonance. Following its release, Zootopia 2 quickly established itself as a major cultural and commercial event. The film's performance at the global box office reflected both the enduring popularity of the original Zootopia and the success of Disney's marketing and distribution strategy. On its opening weekend, it dominated theaters in North America, Europe, and Asia, earning record-breaking figures for an animated sequel. Analysts noted that the combination of a beloved franchise, advanced animation technology, an engaging plot, and high-profile voice talent contributed to the film's strong commercial reception. The United States, United Kingdom, Japan, and China were particularly significant markets, with theater attendance demonstrating strong family turnout as well as adult viewership, indicating the film's cross-generational appeal. Box office projections throughout the first month were exceeded, and the cumulative global gross surpassed $617 million within weeks of release, solidifying Zootopia 2 as one of the highest-grossing animated films of the year. Critical reception was similarly positive, highlighting several key strengths. Reviewers praised the expanded world building, noting the intricacy and variety of new districts such as the semi-aquatic zones, the marshlands, and the industrial and high society districts. Animators' attention to detail in character expressions, environmental textures, and dynamic lighting was frequently cited as evidence of Disney's technical mastery. Critics also lauded the screenplay for successfully blending humor, action, and social commentary, noting that the introduction of Gary DeSnake provided a more morally complex antagonist than many contemporary animated films offer. The film's capacity to address themes such as systemic bias, environmental stewardship, and ethical leadership in a way accessible to children while still resonating with adults was recognized as a major achievement, demonstrating Disney's ability to balance entertainment and meaningful commentary. Across platforms like Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, and IMDb, ratings were overwhelmingly favorable, reflecting both critical acclaim and audience appreciation. Audiences responded enthusiastically to the narrative and character dynamics. Fans of the original film expressed satisfaction at the continuity and growth of beloved characters, particularly Judy and Nick, whose partnership remained a central emotional anchor. The humor, largely derived from character interactions, situational irony, and cleverly designed animal-specific gags, was widely appreciated, ensuring engagement across diverse demographics. Social media platforms were flooded with discussions, fan art, and character analyses, demonstrating the film's impact on contemporary pop culture and fan communities. Minor characters introduced in subplots, such as Nibbles Maplestick and Dr. Fuzzby, became fan favorites, demonstrating that attention to secondary character development enhanced audience investment and narrative richness. Cultural impact extended beyond cinema. The film sparked discussions about inclusion, empathy, and societal responsibility, leveraging its allegorical storytelling to engage audiences in broader social reflection. Educational institutions and youth programs used elements of the film as conversation starters about diversity, ethical leadership, and environmental stewardship. The film's portrayal of complex urban ecosystems, interspecies relationships, and community problem-solving provided a valuable framework for teaching social and environmental awareness in accessible and engaging ways. Merchandise and themed experiences reinforced this impact. Toys, interactive games, and educational kits enabled audiences, particularly children, to explore the film's narrative and thematic content outside the theater, promoting engagement with the story's ethical and creative dimensions. Awards prospects for Zootopia 2 reflected its excellence in multiple areas. Animation, visual effects, music composition, voice acting, and screenplay were frequently highlighted by industry commentators as areas of strong achievement. The film was considered a frontrunner in categories including Best Animated Feature at international award ceremonies and for technical awards recognizing innovation in animation, sound design, and visual effects. Recognition from peer groups and industry organizations further validated the film's artistic and technical accomplishments, reinforcing Disney's reputation as a leader in animated filmmaking. The legacy of Zootopia 2 within the Disney animated canon is significant. By expanding the universe established in the original film, the sequel demonstrates the potential of franchise storytelling to evolve organically, incorporating new characters, districts, and themes without sacrificing coherence or narrative integrity. The careful integration of social commentary, humor, and adventure establishes a model for future animated films seeking to engage diverse audiences while addressing meaningful themes. The sequel also exemplifies how character development, world building, and technical innovation can coexist harmoniously, setting a benchmark for subsequent Disney and industry-wide projects. The production process behind Zootopia 2 further underscores its significance. Years of pre-production involved detailed research on urban ecosystems, animal behavior, and environmental dynamics to ensure authenticity. Storyboarding sessions, concept art, and animation tests were iterative, often involving cross-disciplinary collaboration between writers, animators, voice actors, and technical teams. Attention to small details, such as background characters' expressions, environmental lighting shifts, and interactive elements in the cityscape, contributed to the immersive quality of the film. These choices, while subtle, reinforced narrative cohesion, thematic depth, and audience engagement. The use of advanced simulation software allowed animators to achieve unprecedented realism in movement, textures, and environmental effects, particularly in sequences involving water, for dynamics, and crowd simulations. The musical composition, led by a dedicated team of composers and sound designers, played a crucial role in reinforcing narrative and emotional beats. Themes associated with specific characters, districts, or plot developments recur throughout the film, creating continuity and enhancing emotional resonance. Shakira's musical performances as Gazelle were strategically integrated, serving both as entertainment and narrative devices that reflected community values, social cohesion, and character motivations. Environmental sounds, from bustling marketplaces to subtle marshland fauna, were carefully layered to enhance immersion, ensuring that the auditory experience complemented visual storytelling seamlessly. Animation techniques also reflect an evolution in Disney's approach to character design and motion. Semi-aquatic and reptilian species, newly introduced in the sequel, required innovative approaches to anatomy, locomotion, and interaction with their environments. Fluid simulations, collision detection, and procedural animation systems were employed to ensure that each movement was believable within the narrative universe. Facial animation was particularly refined, enabling nuanced emotional expression that allowed audiences to connect empathetically with characters. Lighting and shading techniques were meticulously calibrated to distinguish districts and moods, while dynamic camera movements enhanced pacing, tension, and spectacle. Thematic richness is central to the film's impact. By exploring societal challenges through allegorical storytelling, Zootopia 2 addresses topics such as ethical leadership, inclusion, and environmental responsibility in accessible ways. Characters' choices, conflicts, and resolutions serve as exemplars of empathy, problem-solving, and collaborative action. Subplots, including those involving minor characters and newly introduced districts, reinforce these themes, ensuring that the narrative resonates with both children and adults. The moral complexity of Gary DeSnake, the intricacies of interspecies social dynamics, and the collaborative problem-solving showcased by the protagonists and supporting cast offer layered reflections on contemporary social issues, illustrating the potential of animated storytelling to combine entertainment with meaningful engagement. Finally, Zootopia 2 serves as a testament to the enduring appeal of character-driven storytelling, meticulous production, and socially conscious narrative design. The film successfully balances adventure, humor, technical innovation, and ethical reflection, offering a cinematic experience that is both visually spectacular and emotionally compelling. Its success, both critically and commercially, reaffirms the viability of animated sequels that respect narrative continuity while embracing creative expansion. The film's integration of diverse characters, complex environments, and layered thematic content ensures that it will remain a reference point for industry practitioners, audiences, and scholars interested in animation, storytelling, and social engagement. As a continuation of a beloved franchise, Zootopia 2 not only entertains but challenges audiences to consider broader questions of empathy, inclusion, and responsibility, leaving a lasting imprint on both pop culture and the evolving landscape of animated cinema. In conclusion, Zootopia 2 exemplifies the power of contemporary animated filmmaking to combine artistry, narrative sophistication, and meaningful social commentary. It demonstrates Disney's continued mastery of visual storytelling, voice acting, world building, and musical integration, while providing audiences with a compelling, emotionally resonant experience. Through its nuanced characters, intricate cityscapes, dynamic subplots, and ethical exploration, the film solidifies its place within the Disney canon and sets a high benchmark for future animated features. Its legacy extends beyond box office figures and critical acclaim, inspiring both creators and audiences to appreciate the possibilities of animated storytelling as a medium capable of combining entertainment, education, and reflection. The film concludes not just as a story of adventure and mystery but as a cultural artifact that celebrates diversity, collaboration, and the enduring human, or, in this case, anthropomorphic animal, values that unite communities, offering both spectacle and substance in equal measure. While Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde remain the central figures of Zootopia 2, the supporting cast is crucial in enriching the narrative, providing thematic depth, and expanding the social tapestry of the city. Each secondary character is carefully crafted, both in terms of personality and visual design, allowing them to contribute meaningfully to the story rather than serving as mere background. One notable example is Nibbles Maple Stick, voiced by Fortune Feimster. Nibbles is portrayed as quirky, highly intelligent, and surprisingly resourceful despite her unassuming size and initially comic disposition. Early in the film, she serves as a link to Zootopia's underground networks, offering critical clues that guide Judy and Nick in their investigation of Gary the Snake. Through her arc, the film explores themes of underestimated potential and the value of non-traditional perspectives, emphasizing that insight and courage are not limited by outward appearances or societal expectations. Nibbles' interactions with the main characters often generate humor but also provide meaningful reflections on collaboration and mutual respect. Dar. Fuzby, voiced by Keena Brunson, is another key secondary character whose arc introduces psychological and ethical dimensions to the narrative. As a therapist-like figure, Dr. Fuzby engages with multiple characters, offering guidance and helping them process stress, fear, and moral dilemmas. Her presence is particularly significant in scenes where Judy and Nick face ethical uncertainty, as she encourages them to question assumptions and consider the emotional and social consequences of their actions. The character's arc is subtle but impactful, demonstrating that understanding and empathy are vital in resolving conflict and fostering cohesion within a diverse society. Visually, Dr. Fuzby is animated with expressive gestures and nuanced facial cues, reflecting both her professional authority and her warmth, reinforcing her role as a mentor and moral compass within the story. The film also develops arcs for returning characters, such as Chief Bogo, who evolves beyond the role of a gruff authority figure. Idris Elba's performance imbues Bogo with a sense of responsibility, personal investment, and occasional vulnerability, illustrating that even established figures must adapt and grow when faced with unprecedented challenges. In Zootopia 2, Bogo navigates a balance between enforcing the law and accommodating the complex social realities that Judy and Nick uncover. His interactions with subordinate officers and community leaders highlight the tension between rigid authority and flexible leadership, reinforcing the film's overarching exploration of justice, fairness, and the importance of listening to diverse voices. Gazelle, voiced by Shakira, continues to be a cultural touchstone within the city, her music and public persona bridging gaps between communities. In the sequel, her arc is less about personal growth and more about societal influence. Through her performances and public appearances, Gazelle acts as a catalyst for social cohesion, subtly promoting empathy and understanding across Zootopia's various species. The new song, Zoo, is woven into critical narrative moments, reinforcing both the celebratory aspects of city life and the emotional stakes of the characters' personal journeys. Gazelle's interactions with Judy and Nick also emphasize the intersection between celebrity influence and civic responsibility, adding a modern, culturally relevant layer to the story. Secondary antagonists, including subordinate hench characters associated with Gary the Snake, are animated with distinctive visual traits and behavioral quirks that make them memorable despite limited screen time. These characters often serve as narrative foils, testing the main character's problem-solving skills and moral judgments. Their arcs, while shorter, are designed to reflect broader thematic concerns, such as the consequences of manipulation, groupthink, and unchecked ambition. Through these interactions, the film conveys lessons on vigilance, ethical discernment, and the importance of community engagement, subtly reinforcing its social commentary without overt exposition. Supporting law enforcement characters, including officers of varying species, are also developed with nuance. Their reactions to crises, teamwork dynamics, and individual quirks create a richer depiction of the police department as a microcosm of Zootopia's broader society. The narrative occasionally focuses on moments of tension and misunderstanding among these officers, highlighting the challenges of cooperation within hierarchical structures and diverse workplaces. At the same time, moments of solidarity and collective ingenuity demonstrate the potential for effective collaboration when differences are acknowledged and leveraged as strengths. These arcs contribute to the film's exploration of leadership, accountability, and the value of diverse perspectives in problem-solving. Minor yet memorable characters, such as local business owners, community organizers, and school officials, are also given narrative moments that reinforce the interconnectedness of the city. Even brief appearances are used to convey social commentary, illuminate world-building details, or provide humor and relatability. For instance, a sequence in a neighborhood cafe reveals interspecies tensions and alliances, while a schoolyard scene showcases generational differences and evolving social norms. These microarcs enrich the narrative by demonstrating that the city functions as an ecosystem, with every character influencing the social, emotional, and moral landscape in some way. The interplay between secondary characters and the protagonists is critical in shaping the narrative's emotional trajectory. Judy and Nick are challenged to consider multiple perspectives, adapt to new information, and engage in ethical reflection, all catalyzed by interactions with secondary characters. This dynamic also allows for character-driven humor and emotional resonance, balancing action sequences with moments of reflection, camaraderie, and levity. The relationships between characters of different species, social standing, and personality type reinforce the film's themes of empathy, inclusion, and the complexity of societal systems, ensuring that the narrative maintains depth while remaining entertaining and accessible. By the climax, secondary characters play an integral role in the resolution of the central conflict. Their contributions, ranging from strategic intelligence, moral guidance, and creative problem-solving, demonstrate that collaborative action is essential for societal harmony. The film's conclusion allows for multiple secondary characters to experience moments of personal growth or recognition, reinforcing the notion that heroism and moral courage are distributed across a community, not confined to a single protagonist. This collective resolution is both narratively satisfying and thematically consistent, emphasizing the film's commitment to portraying a multifaceted, interdependent society. The supporting and minor characters in Zootopia 2 receive careful development, adding depth and dimension to the city's ecosystem. Disney has expanded the cast to include a variety of species from across Zootopia, each with unique personalities, social roles, and cultural markers that contribute meaningfully to the narrative. Among these new characters are technologically adept rodents who assist Judy and Nick with surveillance, code-breaking, and logistical coordination, highlighting the importance of collaboration across species lines. These characters are designed not only for comedic relief but also to reinforce themes of ingenuity, teamwork, and the contributions of individuals often overlooked by society. Elderly animals, serving as wise advisors, provide historical context and ethical guidance, illustrating the interplay between experience and innovation in addressing complex challenges. The film also places significant emphasis on family and community dynamics. Subplots involving Judy's extended family, as well as new family units within various species, explore the interplay between societal expectation and personal ambition. These sequences highlight the characters' motivations and provide emotional resonance that enhances the central plotline. For example, Judy's decision-making is influenced not only by professional duty but also by personal relationships and familial expectations, adding layers to her character arc and making her struggles relatable. Similarly, Nick's backstory and interactions with new characters reveal deeper facets of his personality, including loyalty, humor, and a sense of justice that drives his actions throughout the film. These explorations of interpersonal relationships contribute to the emotional depth and universality of the story. One of the distinguishing features of Zootopia 2 is its approach to moral and ethical dilemmas. Unlike conventional animated sequels that rely heavily on action or slapstick humor, this film places significant weight on decisions that require judgment, critical thinking, and empathy. For instance, a central plot point involves a community threatened by misinformation and manipulation. Judy and Nick must navigate not only the tangible obstacles presented by the antagonist but also the intangible challenges of influencing public perception, rebuilding trust, and fostering cooperation among a diverse populace. The film encourages audiences to consider the importance of integrity, civic responsibility, and ethical decision-making in a complex society. These themes are subtly embedded in dialogue, visual cues, and character interactions, allowing viewers to engage with them without detracting from the entertainment value. The sequel's action sequences are choreographed with meticulous attention to both spectacle and narrative function. High-stakes pursuits, urban chases, and stealth missions are crafted to test the character's ingenuity and resourcefulness while maintaining visual clarity and excitement. Animators leverage dynamic camera movements, layered backgrounds, and realistic physics to create sequences that feel both thrilling and grounded within the context of Zootopia's environment. Humor is integrated organically, often arising from the interactions between characters of different species with varying physical abilities and temperaments. These sequences serve multiple purposes. They advance the plot, deepen character relationships, and provide moments of levity that balance suspense and tension. The antagonist Gary the Snake exemplifies the film's sophisticated approach to villainy. His motivations are revealed gradually, showing a mixture of personal ambition, ideological conviction, and a desire to manipulate societal structures for his advantage. This nuanced portrayal contrasts with one-dimensional villains typical of many animated sequels, making the Snake's actions compelling and, at times, morally ambiguous. His interactions with Judy and Nick are intellectually and emotionally engaging, forcing the protagonists to reconsider their assumptions, strategize carefully, and develop creative solutions. This dynamic allows the narrative to explore themes of power, influence, and ethical leadership in a nuanced way, contributing to the sequel's depth and maturity. The visual design of Zootopia 2 is enhanced by the use of advanced lighting, texture mapping, and environmental detail. Districts within the city are designed to reflect the ecology, culture, and socio-economic dynamics of their inhabitants. For instance, urban areas dominated by predatory species are rendered with sharp angles, metallic structures, and high-intensity lighting, creating a sense of energy and tension. In contrast, neighborhoods populated primarily by herbivorous species feature soft textures, warm lighting, and communal spaces that evoke safety and cooperation. These environmental cues support storytelling by visually reinforcing thematic elements, mood, and character development. Animators also employ microdetails, such as signage, street art, and interactive objects, to enrich the world and provide subtle narrative hints that reward attentive viewers. The musical score, composed by Michael Giacchino, complements these visual and narrative elements. By blending orchestral themes with culturally specific motifs and environmental sounds, the soundtrack enhances emotional resonance and underscores narrative pacing. Judy Hopps' musical theme evolves in parallel with her character arc, reflecting growth, doubt, and determination. Nick Wilde's motifs incorporate playful, improvisational elements that mirror his wit and adaptability. The antagonist's theme employs dissonance and serpentine patterns to signal tension and unpredictability. Music cues are strategically placed to amplify suspense during investigations, heighten tension during action sequences, and provide warmth and humor during interpersonal interactions. The integration of sound design, diegetic city sounds, and score creates a fully immersive auditory experience, reinforcing the film's cinematic quality. The marketing campaign for Zootopia 2 has utilized multiple platforms to generate anticipation. Social media campaigns, interactive games, and behind-the-scenes content have targeted diverse demographics, emphasizing both nostalgia for the first film and excitement for the new narrative elements. Merchandise strategies include toys, clothing, and collectibles, designed to reinforce brand engagement and audience investment. Early screenings and previews highlighted visual advancements, plot intrigue, and the expanded city, generating positive buzz and fostering community discussions among fans. These campaigns reflect Disney's understanding of the modern media landscape and the importance of multi-channel engagement to maximize audience reach. From a distribution perspective, Zootopia 2 follows a strategic release model. The premiere at Hollywood's El Capitan Theater on November 13, 2025, served as an exclusive event for press, industry insiders, and select fans, generating early media coverage. The wide theatrical release on November 26, 2025, capitalized on the holiday season and positioned the film for strong box office performance. Anticipated digital and streaming releases, likely including Disney+, are expected in early 2026, ensuring extended audience access while maintaining theatrical revenue potential. International releases have been carefully localized, with language dubbing, culturally relevant adaptations, and region-specific marketing efforts designed to maximize global appeal. These strategies indicate Disney's focus on both immediate revenue and long-term engagement across diverse markets. Critically, the film is poised to continue the franchise's tradition of blending entertainment with meaningful commentary. Early reactions from test audiences and industry insiders suggest that Zootopia 2 successfully balances humor, suspense, and emotional depth while maintaining accessibility for children and thematic richness for adults. The film's integration of social commentary, ethical dilemmas, and multi-layered storytelling positions it as a sequel that not only honors the original film but also expands its narrative and thematic ambitions. Audiences can expect a cinematic experience that combines engaging adventure, compelling character arcs, and thought-provoking messages within a visually stunning and immersive world. The technical execution of Zootopia 2 represents a landmark achievement in contemporary animation, showcasing Disney Animation Studios' ongoing commitment to innovation and narrative fidelity. One of the most notable technical accomplishments is the advanced fur and texture simulation, which allows each character, regardless of species, to exhibit highly realistic, dynamic, and contextually responsive hair or fur. Rabbits, foxes, and reptiles alike interact with environmental factors such as wind, water, and friction in ways that enhance believability while maintaining a stylized aesthetic. These details are painstakingly programmed and rendered using proprietary simulation software, allowing animators to manipulate fur length, density, and movement for nuanced emotional expression. For example, Judy Hop's fur subtly bristles during tense moments, reflecting anxiety or determination, while Nick Wilde's sleek coat shifts in response to his agile movements and the surrounding environment, emphasizing his cunning and adaptability. Gary the Snake, being a reptile, required a completely different simulation pipeline, focusing on scale reflectivity, fluid motion, and subtle color gradients that change with light exposure. These distinct approaches highlight the meticulous attention to biological realism and stylistic consistency that defines the film's visual identity. Voice acting in Zootopia 2 plays a critical role in breathing life into each character, capturing subtle emotional nuances that dialogue alone cannot convey. Ginnifer Goodwin's performance as Judy Hopps balances optimism with the growing weight of responsibility, using micro-inflections and pacing to communicate internal conflict and moral resolve. Jason Bateman's portrayal of Nick Wilde employs timing, vocal tonality, and subtle intonations to convey sly humor, cautious skepticism, and heartfelt vulnerability, allowing the audience to perceive layers of personality beyond surface behavior. Kohui Kwan's vocal performance as Gary the Snake reflects careful modulation to convey intelligence, charisma, and an underlying sense of threat without resorting to one-dimensional villainy. Supporting cast members contribute their own distinctive voices and emotional textures, enriching ensemble interactions and adding depth to group dynamics. Directors Jared Bush and Byron Howard guided the voice actors through multiple recording sessions, ensuring consistency across emotional beats and alignment with on-screen physical performance, further blending animation and vocal performance into a cohesive whole. Global audience reception of Zootopia 2 has been overwhelmingly positive in early screenings, with particular praise for the film's balance of entertainment, emotional depth, and social commentary. In North America, family audiences have responded enthusiastically to the character-driven narrative, while young adult viewers appreciate the film's clever humor and complex thematic undertones. In Europe, critics and audiences have highlighted the environmental storytelling and visual sophistication, noting how each district of Zootopia reflects broader social structures and cultural nuances. In Asia, particularly in markets such as Japan, China, and South Korea, the film has generated strong box office interest, aided by Disney's localization efforts, dubbing quality, and culturally resonant humor and references. The franchise's appeal in these regions is further enhanced by the universal themes of diversity, empathy, and community, which resonate across cultural contexts. Early social media analysis indicates high levels of fan engagement, with discussions of character motivations, ethical dilemmas, and narrative Easter eggs trending across multiple platforms. The box office breakdown by region provides insight into the film's commercial impact. In North America, projections estimate opening weekend earnings of $120 to $150 million, supported by holiday season release timing and strong franchise recognition. Europe and the United Kingdom are expected to contribute approximately $100 to $120 million, with Germany, France, and the UK showing particularly strong pre-release ticket sales. Asian markets, led by China, Japan, and South Korea, could generate combined earnings of $200 to $250 million, reflecting high demand for animated family entertainment and successful marketing localization strategies. Latin America and the Middle East are projected to contribute smaller yet significant amounts, collectively approaching $70 to $90 million. These regional analyses underscore Disney's global marketing strategy, which tailors promotional campaigns to local preferences while maintaining the franchise's universal appeal. Cumulatively, Zootopia 2 is on track to approach or exceed $800 to $900 million in worldwide gross, positioning it as one of the most successful animated releases of 2025. Thematic deconstruction reveals the depth of Zootopia 2 as more than a simple adventure story. Central to the narrative is the exploration of prejudice, social stratification, and the tension between individual agency and systemic structures. By introducing a previously marginalized species, the film interrogates assumptions about belonging, trust, and ethical responsibility, encouraging audiences to reflect on their own social environments. Judy and Nick's journey emphasizes the importance of empathy, critical thinking, and collaboration, illustrating how individuals can navigate complex moral landscapes while upholding personal integrity. Secondary themes include resilience in the face of adversity, the challenges of leadership, and the negotiation of personal identity within social expectations. These thematic layers are woven seamlessly into action sequences, dialogue, and visual motifs, ensuring that moral and social commentary is integrated into the narrative rather than presented as overt didacticism. Cultural significance extends beyond box office performance or critical acclaim. Zootopia 2 functions as a mirror to contemporary societal concerns, using anthropomorphism as a lens through which audiences of all ages can examine issues of tolerance, fairness, and inclusion. The sequel's emphasis on diversity and acceptance resonates in educational contexts, with teachers and parents leveraging the film as a tool for initiating discussions about social ethics, bias, and cooperation. Moreover, the film's cross-generational appeal allows for shared viewing experiences that bridge age gaps, reinforcing family and community engagement. The integration of music, humor, and visual storytelling amplifies this cultural resonance, making Zootopia 2 not only an entertainment product but also a culturally significant artifact capable of influencing perceptions, sparking dialogue, and inspiring creative expression among audiences worldwide. The sequel's integration of technological innovation, narrative sophistication, and cultural consciousness establishes Zootopia 2 as a benchmark in modern animated filmmaking. Its achievements span multiple dimensions, including visual realism, environmental complexity, vocal performance nuance, musical composition, and socially conscious storytelling. By balancing these elements, the film succeeds in entertaining while provoking thought, ensuring both immediate audience satisfaction and enduring cultural impact. Furthermore, the film's narrative and thematic expansions lay the groundwork for future installments and spin-offs, enabling continued exploration of Zootopia's social, ecological, and ethical landscapes while maintaining continuity and audience investment. Following its domestic release, Zootopia 2 achieved remarkable success in international markets, reflecting both the global appeal of the franchise and the universality of its themes. In China, the film broke records for animated releases, earning over $275 million in its opening weekend alone, demonstrating the resonance of its narrative and visual spectacle with diverse audiences. Analysts attributed this success to several factors: the strength of the original film's reputation, the strategic marketing highlighting the expanded world and new characters, and the film's blend of humor, action, and socially relevant messaging, which transcends cultural boundaries. Similarly, in Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East, Zootopia 2 consistently ranked among the top-grossing films of the year during its initial weeks, with particular praise directed at its animation quality, story depth, and the charismatic performances of its voice cast. In addition to box office revenue, international critical reception highlighted the film's sophisticated treatment of social themes, with reviewers noting that it successfully balances entertainment with moral and ethical reflection, appealing to both children and adult viewers. The financial performance of Zootopia 2 underscores Disney's strategic positioning of the franchise within the global animation market. Beyond ticket sales, the film generated substantial ancillary revenue through merchandising, including action figures, apparel, playsets, and digital tie-ins. Notably, character-driven merchandise such as Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde action figures, Gary the Snake collectibles, and interactive district playsets reinforced the film's narrative and thematic elements, allowing fans to engage with the story world beyond the theater. Marketing campaigns leveraged these products to cultivate a sense of immersion and continuity, emphasizing the characters' personalities, city districts, and plotlines while enhancing brand loyalty across demographics. Educational tie-ins, such as interactive online activities and themed learning kits, further expanded engagement, linking the film's themes of diversity, cooperation, and problem-solving to real-world skills and awareness. Fan culture around Zootopia 2 has been particularly vibrant. Online communities and fan forums quickly developed detailed analyses, discussions of character arcs, fan art, and theories regarding unresolved plot threads or potential future installments. These fan-driven narratives reflect the depth of audience investment in the Zootopia universe and underscore the film's success in cultivating a complex, relatable, and resonant story world. Conventions, screenings, and interactive experiences provided further platforms for fans to engage, often featuring panels with voice actors, animators, and filmmakers who shared insights into the creative process. Social media amplified these interactions, creating a dynamic ecosystem of participation that extended the life and impact of the film well beyond its initial release window. Within the Disney canon, Zootopia 2 represents a significant evolution of the studio's approach to animated sequels. Rather than relying solely on nostalgia or repetition, the film expands both narrative scope and thematic ambition. By integrating multi-layered character arcs, ethically complex dilemmas, and visually innovative settings, it exemplifies Disney's commitment to storytelling that is both entertaining and intellectually engaging. The film also demonstrates a sophisticated use of continuity, linking directly to the first Zootopia while establishing its own identity, thereby providing a blueprint for future animated sequels that balance familiarity with novelty. This approach reinforces Disney Animation Studios' reputation for pushing the boundaries of animated storytelling, blending technical excellence with thoughtful, resonant narratives. Thematically, Zootopia 2 continues to explore issues of inclusion, societal equity, and personal growth, but does so with increased subtlety and complexity. The narrative emphasizes that justice and progress are collective endeavors, requiring collaboration across diverse communities and the acknowledgement of systemic challenges. By portraying characters who grow, adapt, and reconcile past errors, the film encourages audiences to consider the moral and ethical dimensions of leadership, civic responsibility, and empathy. These themes are woven seamlessly into action sequences, humor, and musical interludes, ensuring that moral reflection is never didactic but integrated into the immersive cinematic experience. Through these choices, the film achieves a resonance that extends beyond entertainment, inviting meaningful dialogue about the dynamics of society, community, and personal development. From a technical perspective, Zootopia 2 showcases significant advancements in animation, sound design, and visual storytelling. Each district within the city is rendered with meticulous attention to ecological, architectural, and social realism, while maintaining the stylized charm characteristic of Disney animation. Fur, skin, and feather simulations achieve unprecedented levels of detail, contributing to the believability of interactions between species. Advanced lighting and shadow work, coupled with dynamic camera angles and parallax effects, enhance depth and dimensionality. Fluid simulations, particularly in water-based and marshland districts, provide visual realism that complements the narrative while presenting animators with complex technical challenges that were overcome through innovative rendering techniques. Similarly, sound design, including ambient effects, species-specific calls, and musical scoring, reinforces the narrative and emotional arcs, ensuring that every sensory element contributes to storytelling cohesion. The voice cast, returning and new, remains central to the film's success. Ginnifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman reprise their roles with increased nuance, capturing the emotional depth and evolving dynamics of Judy and Nick. Ko Hui Kwan's portrayal of Gary DeSnake is particularly noteworthy for balancing menace, intelligence, and vulnerability, offering audiences a villain who is as thought-provoking as he is compelling. Supporting actors, including Shakira, Idris Elba, Quinta Brunson, and Fortune Feimster, provide additional layers of engagement, blending humor, wisdom, and narrative utility. Together, the voice performances create a dynamic auditory landscape that complements the visual and musical storytelling. As the film's global impact becomes evident, it also sparks conversations about the evolving role of animated features in addressing complex social themes. Zootopia 2 demonstrates that animated sequels can go beyond surface-level entertainment, providing platforms for discussion on diversity, inclusion, ethical leadership, and systemic challenges. By situating these themes within a richly imagined city inhabited by relatable, anthropomorphized characters, the film fosters empathy and critical thinking, particularly among younger audiences, while still delivering compelling adventure and humor for all viewers. This dual achievement reinforces the film's place as a culturally significant work within contemporary animation and family entertainment. In conclusion, Zootopia 2 represents a multifaceted achievement in animation, storytelling, and cultural impact. From its meticulous world-building and richly developed characters to its sophisticated thematic explorations and technical innovations, the film exemplifies the potential of animated features to entertain, educate, and provoke thoughtful reflection. Its international reception, commercial success, and vibrant fan engagement underscore its resonance across demographics and cultures. By blending humor, suspense, moral inquiry, and visual spectacle, the film not only continues the legacy of the original Zootopia but expands it, offering audiences a complex, engaging, and ultimately uplifting cinematic experience. As part of Disney Animation Studios' broader canon, Zootopia 2 sets a benchmark for animated sequels, illustrating how careful attention to narrative depth, character development, and social relevance can produce a work that is commercially successful, culturally meaningful, and artistically compelling. Zootopia 2 features a meticulously curated voice cast that combines returning talent with new actors, each chosen to enrich the narrative and bring depth to the characters. Ginnifer Goodwin reprises her role as Judy Hopps, delivering a performance that balances determination, vulnerability, and optimism. Her vocal inflections convey emotional nuance, from the excitement of solving mysteries to moments of self-doubt, grounding the character in realism despite the fantastical setting. Jason Bateman returns as Nick Wilde, whose witty, sardonic tone complements Judy's earnestness while providing humor and insight. Their chemistry drives much of the film's emotional and narrative momentum, reflecting years of character development and audience familiarity. The new antagonist, Gary the Snake, voiced by Ke Huy Quan, is central to the sequel's narrative tension. Kwan's vocal performance imbues the character with intelligence, charisma, and menace, ensuring that the villain is not only credible but also psychologically compelling. Other new voice actors include Fortunate Feimster, Keena Brunson, Andy Samberg, David Strathairn, Patrick Warburton, and Danny Trejo, each contributing distinctive voices that reinforce character identity and enhance the richness of the world. Minor characters, often represented by species-specific traits and mannerisms, are voiced by an ensemble of supporting actors who provide comedic timing, emotional resonance, and narrative function. These layered performances ensure that even secondary characters contribute meaningfully to the plot and thematic development. From a production standpoint, Zootopia 2 represents a culmination of years of creative effort, technological innovation, and logistical coordination. The animation team utilized cutting-edge rendering engines and simulation systems to produce realistic fur, feather, and scale textures, dynamic lighting, and environmental interactions. Scenes set in bustling city districts required complex choreography, combining crowd simulation, vehicle animation, and background detail to create an immersive, believable urban environment. Directors Jared Bush and Byron Howard emphasized collaboration across departments, ensuring that visual design, sound, music, and narrative elements coalesced into a seamless cinematic experience. The score by Michael Giacchino was developed in tandem with animation, with motifs carefully synchronized to character movements, emotional beats, and plot pacing. This holistic approach reflects Disney's commitment to high production values and integrated storytelling. Thematic exploration in Zootopia 2 extends beyond conventional animated tropes. The film delves into complex social dynamics, including prejudice, societal inequality, civic responsibility, and ethical decision-making. Subplots involving marginalized species, misinformation, and leadership dilemmas offer opportunities for audiences to reflect on contemporary societal challenges. The narrative encourages empathy, critical thinking, and collaboration, demonstrating how animated storytelling can simultaneously entertain and provoke thoughtful engagement. These themes are woven into both dialogue and visual storytelling, with environmental cues, character expressions, and plot developments reinforcing the messages without sacrificing pacing or entertainment value. Detailed scene analysis reveals the intricate narrative architecture of the film. Key sequences include a citywide festival that showcases cultural diversity and introduces minor characters who later assist in resolving the central mystery. Investigative sequences in the diplomatic district employ suspenseful pacing, visual misdirection, and clever clues that challenge both protagonists and audience. Action sequences, including rooftop chases, stealth infiltrations, and urban pursuits, are choreographed to emphasize character ingenuity, environmental awareness, and interspecies dynamics. Humor is interwoven throughout, often arising from species-specific interactions, situational irony, and character idiosyncrasies. These elements create a rhythm that balances tension, emotional depth, and comic relief, ensuring audience engagement across age groups. The production timeline of Zootopia 2 involved extensive pre-production planning, including world building, script development, storyboarding, and voice casting. Animation production spanned multiple years, with iterative cycles of modeling, rigging, texturing, lighting, and rendering. Visual effects and post-production processes required coordination across departments to maintain consistency, quality, and narrative cohesion. Marketing efforts were strategically aligned with production milestones, including trailer releases, social media campaigns, and merchandise rollouts. Disney's global distribution strategy included premieres, theatrical releases, and coordinated international launches with localized adaptations to maximize audience reach and cultural resonance. Audience reception and critical response are projected to be strong based on early screenings, industry previews, and engagement metrics from marketing campaigns. Analysts anticipate robust box office performance, supported by a combination of nostalgia for the original film, interest in the expanded narrative and visual spectacle, and cross-generational appeal. Ancillary revenue from merchandise, digital distribution, and streaming rights is expected to supplement theatrical earnings, reflecting a comprehensive strategy for long-term audience engagement. Streaming on Disney Plus is likely to follow several months after the theatrical release, providing global accessibility while maintaining box office viability. The social and thematic implications of Zootopia 2 continue to resonate beyond the cinematic experience. By integrating complex ethical dilemmas, societal commentary, and emotional growth within a visually rich animated world, the film exemplifies the capacity of animation to address substantive topics in a manner accessible to diverse audiences. Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde serve as exemplars of courage, integrity, and cooperation, while the challenges they face provide a framework for exploring leadership, civic responsibility, and the consequences of moral choices. The antagonist's complexity reinforces the narrative's engagement with power, manipulation, and societal impact, offering nuanced lessons without resorting to didacticism. In conclusion, Zootopia 2 stands as a landmark achievement in contemporary animation, combining state-of-the-art visual effects, immersive world-building, intricate narrative structures, and thought-provoking themes. The film successfully balances humor, action, mystery, and emotional resonance, delivering a cinematic experience that appeals to both children and adults. With a strong ensemble cast, sophisticated production design, and carefully crafted storytelling, the sequel honors the legacy of the original film while expanding its scope, depth, and cultural relevance. Its release strategy, marketing campaigns, and projected reception indicate both immediate commercial success and long-term impact, positioning Zootopia 2 as a defining work in Disney's animated canon. Zootopia 2, the highly anticipated sequel to Disney's 2016 animated hit Zootopia, is a cinematic event that expands the universe of anthropomorphic animals in ways both surprising and deeply engaging. Set in the bustling, vibrant metropolis of Zootopia, the film continues the adventures of Judy Hopps, an ambitious and determined rabbit police officer, and her witty, charming partner, Nick Wilde, a reformed Fox con artist turned law enforcer. This sequel builds upon the narrative and thematic foundations laid by the original film, which deftly combined humor, action, and social commentary on prejudice, diversity, and societal structures, offering a story that resonated with audiences of all ages. In Zootopia 2, the stakes are higher, the city is more complex, and the characters face challenges that test both their skills and their personal relationships, reflecting an evolution in storytelling that Disney has embraced in its recent animated ventures. From a production standpoint, Zootopia 2 represents a culmination of years of careful planning, design, and development. The film is produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios, a studio renowned for pushing the boundaries of computer animation, character development, and world building. The original creative team returned for the sequel, including directors Byron Howard and Jared Bush, who bring continuity and a deep understanding of the characters and universe, as well as new perspectives that refresh the narrative. Jared Bush, who also contributed to the screenplay, ensures that the dialogue and plot remain sharp and thematically consistent with the first film, while incorporating fresh elements that address contemporary social issues in imaginative ways. The animation team employed cutting-edge techniques to render Zootopia's cityscape with even greater realism and diversity, including new districts, ecosystems, and architectural styles that reflect the habitats of the varied animal population, from swamps and marshes to bustling metropolitan centers and semi-aquatic neighborhoods. Concept artists and designers, such as Corey Loftus, expanded the visual language of the film, creating environments that are rich in texture and visual storytelling, ensuring that every scene contributes to world building as well as narrative development. The story of Zootopia 2 is both a continuation and an expansion. It begins with the city in a state of uneasy harmony following the events of the first film, where Judy and Nick successfully uncovered a plot that sought to pit predator and prey against each other. The sequel introduces a new antagonist, Gary the Snake, a cunning and enigmatic reptilian figure whose presence in Zootopia threatens to destabilize the delicate balance of the city. Unlike the predators in the original film, Gary brings an entirely new dynamic to the narrative, challenging the characters not only physically but morally and strategically. Judy and Nick are called upon to investigate a series of mysterious incidents that appear minor at first but gradually reveal a more complex conspiracy. Their journey takes them to parts of Zootopia previously unexplored in the film franchise, showcasing new animal communities and highlighting cultural, environmental, and societal diversity. As they navigate these new districts, the film explores themes of inclusion, the consequences of marginalization, and the importance of community cooperation, reflecting Disney's continued commitment to socially relevant storytelling within an entertaining framework. The character dynamics in Zootopia 2 are central to its appeal. Judy Hopps remains a model of determination, courage, and moral integrity, while Nick Wilde provides a counterbalance of streetwise humor, cleverness, and practical skepticism. Their partnership, both professionally and personally, is tested in ways that deepen their character arcs, creating emotional stakes that resonate with audiences. Returning characters, such as Chief Bogo, Gazelle, and various other ZPD officers, provide continuity and comic relief, maintaining the charm and familiarity that fans loved in the original film. Additionally, the sequel introduces a number of new characters, each with unique personalities, abilities, and social roles. Characters like Nibbles Maplestick, a resourceful beaver with an inventive streak, and Dr. Fuzzby, a quokka therapist whose unconventional methods bring levity to tense situations, add layers of narrative complexity and humor. The voice cast combines seasoned actors with emerging talent, ensuring that each character is distinct, memorable, and emotionally resonant. Jennifer Goodwin and Jason Bateman return to voice Judy and Nick, bringing depth, warmth, and continuity to their characters, while Kuhui Kwan's portrayal of Gary the Snake adds a nuanced villainy that challenges the protagonists on multiple levels. Shakira returns as the pop sensation Gazelle, blending musical performance with narrative integration, highlighting the film's commitment to combining entertainment with storytelling. Visually, Zootopia 2 is a triumph. The animation team has expanded the technical possibilities of character design, movement, and environmental rendering. Each district of the city reflects its inhabitants' characteristics, from the bustling urban center where mammals of all sizes coexist in a dizzying array of interactions, to the serene marshlands and aquatic zones where semi-aquatic animals bring a different pace and texture to the city. Lighting, color palettes, and visual effects are employed not only for aesthetic appeal but to reinforce narrative tone and thematic emphasis. Action sequences are choreographed to maximize both excitement and believability within the physics of the animal characters, blending humor with tension and maintaining engagement across age groups. Music and sound design continue to play a pivotal role, with original compositions that heighten emotional beats and support character development, while the inclusion of contemporary pop tracks, including contributions from Shakira, ensures broad appeal. The release of Zootopia 2 has been meticulously planned. The film premiered at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood in mid-November 2025, ahead of its wide theatrical release on November 26, 2025. This timing positioned the film for both holiday audiences and award season consideration, reflecting Disney's strategy of combining commercial success with critical recognition. International release dates vary, ensuring synchronized marketing and maximizing global box office potential. The film's marketing campaign has been innovative, including interactive promotions, concept art reveals, behind-the-scenes featurettes, and partnerships with streaming platforms for pre-release content. Trailers released earlier in 2025 generated significant anticipation, highlighting both returning characters and new environments, while teasing the central mystery and the moral and emotional stakes that drive the narrative forward. In addition to its entertainment value, Zootopia 2 continues the franchise's tradition of embedding thoughtful social commentary. The original film explored prejudice, stereotypes, and societal expectations. The sequel extends these themes to new contexts, examining the challenges faced by minority and marginalized communities within Zootopia. By introducing reptilian and semi-aquatic characters and depicting the tensions and interactions between different animal groups, the film explores concepts such as social mobility, environmental adaptation, and the impact of leadership decisions on diverse populations. These themes are interwoven with humor, adventure, and emotional storytelling, creating a layered narrative that is both engaging and meaningful. The sequel also emphasizes the importance of personal growth, partnership, and empathy, reinforcing the franchise's moral framework while offering entertainment suitable for all ages. The financial aspects of Zootopia 2 reflect Disney's confidence in the project. With an estimated budget of approximately $150 million, the film represents a significant investment in animation, talent, and technology. Early box office projections predicted strong global performance based on the enduring popularity of the original film, successful marketing campaigns, and a robust international fanbase. Following its release, Zootopia 2 quickly became a major box office success, with earnings surpassing $617 million worldwide, reflecting both the franchise's enduring appeal and the quality of the production. Ancillary revenues, including merchandise, streaming rights, and soundtrack sales, further underscore the film's commercial impact. Disney's strategic approach to release timing, marketing, and distribution demonstrates an understanding of both audience demand and global market dynamics, ensuring that Zootopia 2 reaches a wide and diverse audience. The creative process behind Zootopia 2 involved extensive research, collaboration, and iterative development. Writers and animators consulted experts in animal behavior, urban planning, and social psychology to create a believable and immersive city that reflects the complexities of both animal societies and human parallels. Storyboards, concept art, and animated tests were used to refine character interactions, comedic timing, and action sequences. The film's dialogue was crafted to balance humor, emotional resonance, and thematic clarity, ensuring that audiences could engage with the story on multiple levels. The production also emphasized inclusivity in its creative team, with diverse voices contributing to character design, story development, and thematic exploration, reflecting broader industry efforts to improve representation both on-screen and behind the scenes. The sequel's narrative delves more deeply into Judy Hopps' personal journey, examining not only her role as a police officer but her identity as a trailblazer within a city that is still learning to embrace diversity in all its forms. Her evolution from the first film is subtle yet profound. She is no longer merely striving to prove herself against societal expectations but is actively navigating the complex responsibilities that come with experience and authority. Judy's moral compass remains steadfast, yet the challenges she faces in Zootopia 2 force her to confront dilemmas with far-reaching consequences. Decisions that affect entire neighborhoods, relationships among different species, and citywide policies test her ethical judgment and her understanding of justice. These dilemmas are framed not as abstract philosophical debates but as narrative drivers that propel the plot, making her choices feel organic, consequential, and relatable. The writers ensure that her development resonates with viewers, blending humor, emotion, and ethical complexity in ways that enhance engagement and audience investment. Nick Wilde's journey in the sequel is equally compelling. His cleverness and humor remain intact, but he is also shown struggling with past habits, lingering distrust, and his desire to contribute meaningfully in a world where stereotypes still linger. Nick's interactions with Judy are a highlight of the film, balancing comedic timing with emotional authenticity. Their dynamic has matured, reflecting both the weight of experience and the enduring bond forged through previous adventures. Moments of tension, misunderstanding, and reconciliation between them provide narrative depth, creating an emotional anchor for audiences amid the bustling action and intricate plot developments. Gary the Snake represents one of the most significant narrative innovations in Zootopia 2. Unlike previous threats, Gary embodies a sophisticated mix of charm, cunning, and moral ambiguity. His motives are complex, informed by his own experiences of marginalization and systemic exclusion in the broader animal society. Rather than being purely villainous, he is depicted as a product of his environment, challenging the protagonists and the audience to consider broader societal structures and the consequences of neglecting inclusivity. Supporting characters, both returning and new, are afforded richer arcs in this sequel. Characters like Chief Bogo, previously portrayed as a stern and bureaucratic leader, reveal hidden layers of pragmatism, empathy, and humor, demonstrating the film's commitment to multidimensional character writing. Gazelle, the pop superstar, continues to serve as both a narrative catalyst and cultural figure within the city, using her music as a vehicle for social cohesion and awareness. The addition of characters such as Nibbles Maplestick and Dr. Fuzby introduces fresh energy, comic relief, and new perspectives on Zootopia's societal complexities. Each new character is carefully designed, both visually and narratively, to contribute to world building, creating a tapestry of interactions that makes the city feel lived in and diverse. Voice acting, costume design, and animation details work in harmony to ensure that each character's identity, motivations, and relationships are immediately recognizable and memorable. Zootopia itself emerges as a character in its own right. In Zootopia 2, the city's physical and cultural geography is explored with remarkable depth. The filmmakers introduce new districts that reflect the diversity of animal life, environmental adaptation, and urban planning. The semi-aquatic district features architecture and infrastructure designed to accommodate amphibious species, integrating waterways, bridges, and aquatic transit systems. The marshlands provide both a visual contrast and thematic richness, symbolizing uncharted territories and societal margins, while challenging the protagonists to adapt their investigative methods and problem-solving approaches. The city's urban center is bustling with activity, highlighting the complexity of managing diverse populations within a metropolis. By focusing on these environmental details, the film not only entertains visually but also reinforces thematic ideas of coexistence, environmental stewardship, and urban planning as a reflection of societal values. The sequel further enriches the universe through subplots, particularly involving minor characters who add depth and narrative texture. Nibbles Maplestick, a clever young beaver, becomes pivotal in assisting Judy and Nick navigate the semi-aquatic district. Dr. Fuzby, a quokka therapist, introduces humor and emotional reflection, highlighting the psychological dimensions of law enforcement. Additional subplots explore Zootopia's political and social dynamics, showing how residents negotiate interspecies relations, environmental challenges, and resource allocation. These storylines reinforce the film's central themes of inclusion, cooperation, and ethical leadership, providing both levity and substance. From a technical standpoint, Zootopia 2 exemplifies cutting-edge animation. Advanced simulation software was used for fur dynamics, water movement, and environmental effects. Semi-aquatic and reptilian characters required innovative approaches to locomotion and interaction with surroundings. Lighting, shading, and camera movement were meticulously designed to enhance narrative tone, emotional resonance, and visual immersion. Voice acting sessions, iterative and collaborative, ensured that character expressions, timing, and interactions felt authentic. Musical composition and sound design played equally critical roles, with character-specific motifs, environmental audio, and diegetic performances by Gazelle seamlessly integrated into the narrative. The narrative maintains a careful balance of humor, action, and ethical reflection. Comedic sequences arise naturally from character personalities, situational contexts, and animal-specific traits, while tense moments involving Gary the Snake challenge both protagonists and viewers to consider moral ambiguity and societal consequences. Subplots, minor characters, and environmental storytelling reinforce themes of empathy, problem-solving, and community engagement, creating a richly layered experience that appeals to audiences of all ages. Zootopia 2's reception has been overwhelmingly positive. Box office performance, critical reviews, and audience reactions underscore its success. Globally, the film grossed over $617 million, marking it as one of the most commercially successful animated films of its release year. Critics praised its world-building, animation, voice acting, humor, and thematic sophistication. Audiences celebrated the continued development of beloved characters, the introduction of new and compelling minor characters, and the balance of humor, suspense, and ethical storytelling. Its cultural impact is evident through fan engagement, social media discussions, educational applications, and merchandise. Awards recognition further validates its achievements. Nominations and wins in categories for Best Animated Feature, Technical Innovation, Sound Design, and musical composition highlight Disney's excellence in both artistry and narrative execution. The sequel's thoughtful exploration of societal themes, combined with advanced technical execution, positions it as a landmark in contemporary animated cinema. Ultimately, Zootopia 2 serves as both a continuation and evolution of the original film. Its blend of adventure, humor, social commentary, and technical mastery offers audiences a rich and immersive experience. By expanding the city, developing character arcs, introducing nuanced villains, and integrating meaningful subplots, the film demonstrates the potential of animated storytelling to engage, educate, and entertain simultaneously. Its legacy lies not only in commercial success but in its demonstration that family-oriented animation can address complex themes with creativity, empathy, and sophistication, leaving a lasting imprint on audiences and the broader cinematic landscape. Zootopia 2 exemplifies Disney's mastery of visual storytelling, character-driven narratives, and socially conscious filmmaking, creating a work that is both entertaining and culturally significant, ensuring its place as a beloved and influential animated feature for years to come. Zootopia 2 represents a significant evolution in animation technology and visual storytelling, reflecting Disney's commitment to pushing the boundaries of both technical craftsmanship and narrative immersion. One of the most striking aspects of the sequel is its approach to character animation. Each character, from main protagonists to background inhabitants, is rendered with exceptional attention to physicality, expression, and subtle emotional cues. Judy Hopps' movements, for example, are meticulously calibrated to reflect her agility, optimism, and determination. The animators studied real rabbits to capture natural motion, then blended it with anthropomorphic exaggeration to allow expressive gestures that convey emotions clearly. Similarly, Nick Wilde's animation emphasizes fluidity, charisma, and a sly, improvisational energy, with body language and facial expressions conveying wit, skepticism, and empathy. These nuanced animations ensure that even subtle glances or pauses communicate character intent and inner thought, enhancing audience engagement and emotional resonance. Beyond character animation, Zootopia 2 demonstrates remarkable advances in environmental design and rendering. The city itself is a complex, multi-layered entity, with each district exhibiting a unique architectural style, lighting scheme, and social atmosphere. Downtown Zootopia glistens with reflective glass and polished metal, bustling with activity, neon signage, and intricate crowd movement that mimics real-world pedestrian dynamics. In contrast, suburban areas feature softer color palettes, natural landscaping, and more intimate spatial composition, reflecting community and tranquility. The new industrial district is rendered with high-contrast lighting, metallic textures, and dynamic machinery, creating tension and a sense of scale during action sequences. The filmmakers employed advanced simulation techniques for weather, water, and particle effects, ensuring that rainfall, reflections, smoke, and debris interact realistically with characters and environments. These details not only enhance visual realism but also reinforce mood and narrative tone, with lighting and color acting as storytelling tools that reflect both thematic and emotional currents. A particularly notable innovation in Zootopia 2 is the integration of procedural crowd animation and AI-assisted simulation. Background characters, often numbering in the hundreds within a single frame, are animated with individualized behaviors, reactions, and interactions. This technology allows for realistic crowd dynamics, where animals of various species respond differently to events, demonstrating curiosity, fear, excitement, or indifference. These microbehaviors contribute to the world's believability, subtly reflecting social hierarchies, cultural norms, and the impact of the central conflict on everyday citizens. In action sequences, these crowd simulations enhance the sense of scale and realism, making chase scenes, public disturbances, and citywide crises feel organic and dynamically reactive rather than artificially staged. Lighting and cinematography in Zootopia 2 are employed with cinematic precision, drawing on techniques traditionally associated with live-action filmmaking. Dynamic lighting is used to convey time of day, mood, and narrative tension. For instance, a nocturnal sequence featuring a chase through shadowed alleys utilizes directional lighting to cast elongated shadows, heightening suspense and emphasizing the character's agility and resourcefulness. Reflective surfaces, subtle glows, and atmospheric haze are used throughout the film to add depth and richness to scenes, while color grading reinforces emotional tone, warm hues during moments of camaraderie, cooler tones during suspense or moral uncertainty, and vibrant contrasts in musical or celebratory sequences. This meticulous control of visual aesthetics ensures that every frame communicates narrative, emotional, and thematic information effectively. Texture and material detail in Zootopia 2 also reflect the highest standards of contemporary animation. Fur, feathers, scales, and skin are simulated with extraordinary precision, allowing each species to have distinct tactile qualities that respond naturally to light and movement. Judy's fur, for example, exhibits subtle color variations, softness, and slight movement in response to wind or physical activity, enhancing realism and audience empathy. Gary DeSnake's scales reflect light differently depending on his movements and environment, reinforcing his reptilian identity and visual menace. Environmental textures, from cobblestones to metallic surfaces to foliage, are rendered with physical accuracy, contributing to a sense of tactile authenticity that immerses viewers in the cityscape. Camera work in the film is dynamic and cinematic, utilizing techniques such as tracking shots, simulated crane movements, and virtual zooms to create the impression of a living, breathing city. During chase sequences, the camera follows characters fluidly through complex environments, maintaining clarity while emphasizing speed, scale, and stakes. In dialogue-heavy scenes, camera angles and framing are deliberately chosen to highlight character relationships, emotional subtext, and power dynamics. These techniques, combined with advanced depth of field effects, motion blur, and selective focus, ensure that each scene guides viewer attention and emphasizes narrative priorities without disrupting the visual flow or emotional engagement. Another innovation in Zootopia 2 is the use of species-specific behavioral animation, which not only enhances realism but also serves storytelling and thematic purposes. Each animal species behaves according to its natural tendencies, exaggerated where necessary for comedic or dramatic effect. For example, smaller mammals exhibit heightened alertness and quick reflexes, while larger species convey weight, strength, and presence. These behaviors are integrated into social interactions, law enforcement activities, and action sequences, providing both humor and narrative insight. Subtle details, such as ear flicks, tail movements, and vocalizations, are meticulously animated and synchronized with sound design to convey mood, intention, and social hierarchy. Visual storytelling extends to symbolic and thematic imagery throughout the film. Zootopia 2 employs visual motifs such as bridges, pathways, and intersections to represent connection, choice, and societal navigation. Lighting contrasts, reflections, and framing are used to highlight moral dilemmas and character growth, subtly reinforcing the narrative without relying on exposition. For example, Judy's moments of ethical reflection are often accompanied by reflective surfaces or warm, diffused lighting, suggesting both introspection and hope, while sequences involving moral uncertainty feature stark contrasts and angular shadows. These visual cues guide viewers' emotional and cognitive responses, demonstrating Disney's sophisticated approach to integrating art and narrative. Overall, the animation techniques and visual storytelling in Zootopia 2 exemplify a synthesis of technological innovation, artistic vision, and narrative purpose. Every element, from fur and textures to crowd dynamics, lighting, camera movement, and symbolic imagery, is employed to enhance immersion, emotional resonance, and thematic depth. The film demonstrates that animated storytelling can achieve cinematic complexity comparable to live-action filmmaking while retaining the charm, flexibility, and imaginative possibilities unique to animation. Through these techniques, Zootopia 2 not only entertains but also engages audiences on intellectual, emotional, and aesthetic levels, creating a fully realized world that supports both plot development and broader social commentary. Zootopia 2's strength lies in its meticulous attention to detail in individual scenes, where character interactions, environmental cues, and narrative pacing are carefully orchestrated to create a cohesive and immersive cinematic experience. Each sequence is designed to advance multiple layers of storytelling simultaneously, often combining character development, thematic reinforcement, and visual spectacle. For example, early scenes set in the police department establish not only Judy and Nick's strained partnership but also the broader dynamics of law enforcement in Zootopia, highlighting diversity in the ranks, varying species interactions, and the bureaucratic challenges of city governance. Through subtle gestures, background interactions, and strategically placed dialogue, the film conveys complex information without resorting to overt exposition. Animators ensure that micro-expressions, body language, and environmental interactions align perfectly with narrative beats, creating scenes that feel alive and organic. Character interactions in Zootopia 2 are carefully crafted to balance humor, emotion, and narrative clarity. Judy and Nick's relationship is central, and the film explores the tension between professional collaboration and personal connection. Their dialogue often features layered humor. On one level, it functions as light-hearted banter that entertains younger audiences, while on a deeper level, it reveals insecurities, fears, and unspoken feelings that reflect the characters' psychological states. Supporting characters contribute to these interactions in meaningful ways. For instance, Dr. Fuzby's counseling sessions serve as both comedic relief and as a vehicle for introspection, enabling Judy and Nick to articulate internal conflicts in a socially relatable setting. Similarly, Nibbles Maplestick's investigative contributions allow for dynamic exchanges that advance the plot while showcasing teamwork, ingenuity, and cross-species cooperation. Humor mechanisms in the film are sophisticated, blending visual gags, situational comedy, wordplay, and character-driven wit. Visual humor often arises from environmental details, such as exaggerated species-specific traits interacting with city infrastructure, or cleverly staged background activity that rewards attentive viewers. Situational comedy emerges organically from character decisions and misunderstandings, while wordplay exploits species-specific idioms and double meanings, creating multi-layered jokes that appeal to both children and adults. The film also employs comedic timing strategically, using pauses, reactions, and overlapping dialogue to heighten tension or provide relief after dramatic moments, ensuring that humor complements rather than detracts from narrative momentum. Narrative pacing is a hallmark of Zootopia 2, with deliberate variation between action sequences, dialogue-driven scenes, and contemplative moments. High-energy sequences, such as chases through Tundra Town or confrontations with Gary the Snake, are interspersed with quieter moments of reflection or interpersonal conflict, allowing audiences to process emotional beats and thematic content.